When Eleanor defied her manager's orders to help an elderly woman by paying for her groceries, she was fired without a chance to explain herself. However, she hardly knew that the consequences of this act would transcend the supermarket's boundaries. When the next morning her face appeared on all the news channels, but not for a good reason. Hello my friends, I am Linda and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. Upon awakening to yet another day, Eleanor found herself immersed in the monotony of routine, as if trapped in a perpetual cycle. After the closure of the clinic where she worked as a nurse, her journey in search of a new professional opportunity resembled an endless pilgrimage. Faced with doors closing one after another and dwindling financial resources, she decided to broaden her horizons. It was then that amidst this incessant search, a light emerged on the grey horizon, a job at a local supermarket. Although far from her true passion, Eleanor embraced the opportunity as a lifeline amid the turbulent sea of uncertainty. The routine at the supermarket, with its repetitive tasks, eventually weighed heavily on her shoulders. Between restocking shelves, checking inventories, and running the cash register, Eleanor found some relief in the brief interactions with customers. Sometimes, a simple request for guidance on the location of a product turned into an animated conversation, revealing the human warmth she so yearned for. These moments of interaction were like small pearls in the sea of monotony, offering Eleanor a fleeting escape from the dullness of her routine. Eleanor had dedicated many years of her life as a nurse in an elderly care clinic where she found more than just a job. She found a purpose. In the beginning, when she first entered that clinic, a wave of sadness overwhelmed her. Observing how the final years of life could be marked by loneliness moved her deeply. Many of the residents there did not receive visits from their family or friends, which saddened her even more. However, as the days went by, Eleanor discovered a true treasure. With every interaction, every story she had the opportunity to hear, she realized the richness that existed in that seemingly melancholic environment. Each wrinkle, each line of expression was a testament to years lived, lessons learned, and challenges overcome. In time, Eleanor overcame the initial impact of compassion and understood that there in that clinic there was much more than patience. There was family. She became not just a nurse, but a constant presence in the lives of those lonely, elderly individuals. For many of them, she was the daughter who hadn't visited in years, the absent granddaughter, the sister lost in time, the faithful friend. Even for those whose minds were clouded by the veil of time and who could barely recall the faces of their loved ones, Eleanor's warm smile was a ray of light on a cloudy day. And so the nurse knew she was exactly where she needed to be, making a difference in the lives of those who needed it the most. Eleanor not only took care of the elderly during her work shifts, but she welcomed them into her heart, becoming a constant presence in their lives, even in moments when she was not physically present. On her rare days off, she did not hesitate to pick up the phone and call the clinic, eager to know how they had spent the night and if everyone was all right. The connection Eleanor established with some of the elderly was so profound that they refused to receive medication from anyone else but her. And as in any life cycle, there were inevitable goodbyes. As some of the elderly reached the end of their earthly journey and departed, Eleanor always attended their funerals. On these occasions, she watched with surprise and sometimes sadness how the families reacted to the loss. Many seemed to feel a certain relief, as if it were one less expense to worry about. Others seemed indifferent, but to Eleanor, every life represented an invaluable treasure, and she deeply mourned each loss. Upon receiving the devastating news that the clinic was facing financial difficulties and would be closed, Eleanor felt as if the ground had been pulled from under her feet. She knew she would have to say goodbye to her friends, to the elderly who had become her family over the years. Some would be transferred to other clinics, others would return to their families. Now she found herself among shelves filled with products in a supermarket, a world far removed from the one where she had found purpose and meaning. The monotonous and impersonal routine of the supermarket was a constant reminder of her frustration and helplessness in the face of life's twists and turns. Even amidst the cold environment of the supermarket, Eleanor continued to radiate her kindness and compassion. Whenever she noticed an elderly person struggling with something, she did not hesitate to offer her help with a warm smile. "Are you having trouble finding something? Maybe I can help," she would say, her voice brimming with empathy and genuine concern. Her efforts did not go unnoticed by the customers, who did not hesitate to praise the exceptional service that Eleanor provided. However, these compliments did not resonate positively with the supermarket manager. To him, every minute spent in unnecessary conversations was a waste of time and resources. "Eleanor, you are spending too much time on unnecessary interactions. You need to focus on doing your job right," the manager reprimanded, his voice laden with impatience and discontent. "Look at those shelves. They need to be restocked urgently, and where were you? Talking to those old folks? If I catch you wasting time again, I'll have to take more drastic measures." Eleanor was battling the internal conflict stirring within her, knowing that her livelihood depended on that job. One late afternoon, as the supermarket was about to close its doors, Eleanor noticed an elderly lady wandering through the aisles, clearly disoriented. In her hands, a pack of baby diapers and a gallon of milk. It was evident that something was not right. Unable to ignore the situation, Eleanor approached her gently. "Good evening, ma'am. Can I help you?" The elderly woman began to tell disjointed stories about needing to get home to take care of her baby. The former nurse recognized that lost look, the same one she had seen so many times in the elderly people she used to care for. She knew that this lady needed help, and she was willing to risk her job to offer it. Guiding the elderly lady to the checkout, she faced the harsh reality of the situation. The woman had no money or card, and her distress was palpable. "I need to buy these things. My baby needs the diapers and the milk," she insisted, her eyes full of desperation. Without hesitation, Eleanor made a decision. She herself would pay for the goods. Her actions did not go unnoticed. Passing through the checkout with the elderly lady, Eleanor was met by the severe gaze of the store manager. "I warned you, Eleanor. You made your choice. You're fired," were the cruel and inflexible words he uttered, without the slightest hint of hesitation. Eleanor left the supermarket without looking back, alongside the elderly lady. "Well, it looks like it's just the two of us now. What's your name? Do you remember where you live?" she asked, with evident concern in her voice. The elderly lady remained silent, her gaze lost somewhere distant. Night had already fallen over the city. "All right," continued Eleanor, determined. "I'll take you to my home. Tomorrow morning we'll try to figure out what to do." She gave a reassuring smile to the elderly woman, who responded by intertwining her arm with hers, as if finding a safe harbour amidst the storm. In Eleanor's modest apartment, she prepared a comforting soup and made the bed lovingly for the elderly woman. With a resigned sigh, she settled on the sofa. The following morning, she was abruptly awakened by the insistent ringing of her cell phone. On the screen, her sister's name flashed, indicating an urgent call. "Eleanor, what's happening? Your face is on every TV channel. They say you kidnapped an elderly woman, the mother of a millionaire," her sister shouted on the other end of the line, panic evident in her voice. Eleanor felt her heart freeze in her chest. By welcoming that elderly woman, she had never imagined she would get involved in such an unthinkable mess. Turning on the television, she saw shocking images of herself on security cameras, guiding the elderly woman by the arm. Then a firm knock on her apartment door made her shiver with apprehension. Through the door crack, Eleanor saw two police officers standing before her, their serious and determined expressions indicating the gravity of the situation. She knew she was facing a misunderstanding that needed to be clarified. "We're looking for a lady named Wilma. We received information that she was brought here by force," the police officer said firmly, casting an inquisitive look at Eleanor. At this moment, the elderly woman, who had remained in the bedroom until now, appeared in the living room, her sudden presence bringing a breath of clarity to the situation. "Good morning, officers," began the elderly woman, her voice firm and clear, contrasting with the previous confusion. "This woman did not bring me here by force. She simply took me into her home last night." Through the door entered a man, elegantly dressed and with an imposing presence. He was the elderly woman's son, and his countenance bore a mix of relief and concern. "Mother, you gave me such a scare by going out last night," he said, approaching with an expression of relief on his face. "I apologize for the misunderstanding. My mother has been facing some episodes of confusion, and last night she had one of those episodes. Thank you for taking her in." "There's nothing to apologize for," responded Eleanor, her voice soft and reassuring. "I'm happy I could help. Your mother is a lovely person, and it was a pleasure to have her in my home." Eleanor felt a profound relief upon seeing that the misunderstanding had been cleared up. It was comforting to know that Wilma had a loving and dedicated family. It was a reality different from the one Eleanor witnessed daily while taking care of the elderly at the clinic, many of whom faced loneliness and abandonment. Now, with this chapter closed, it was time to resume her search for a new job. As she prepared to start her search for a new job, Eleanor's phone rang, interrupting her thoughts with an unexpected surprise. When she answered, a gentle voice was heard on the other end of the line. "Hello, Eleanor. My name is Edward, Wilma's son, the lady you helped the other night," he began, his voice overflowing with gratitude. "My mother spent the entire day talking about you and how you helped her. Her episodes of mental confusion have become more frequent, and she needs more constant care. I would like to know if you would accept working as her caregiver." Eleanor could hardly believe what she was hearing. That simple night of compassion and kindness had turned into a unique opportunity, a chance to make a difference in the life of someone who had now become more than a stranger. With eyes filled with emotion, Eleanor responded with a sincere yes. She knew that this was not just a job offer, but an opportunity to continue her mission. The story of Eleanor and Wilma reminds us of a powerful lesson about aptitude and purpose. Eleanor was not exercising her profession as a nurse when she took Wilma into her home, but her caregiving skills and compassion were more alive than ever. She used her abilities to offer comfort and support to someone in need, transforming a difficult situation into a moment of kindness and meaning. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.